So I got to tell you, I'm very excited. You might have remembered that a few weeks ago I talked about a young boy who got bullied in Florida because of a T-shirt that he drew supporting the University of Tennessee, a hand-drawn T-shirt because he couldn't afford his own University of Tennessee shirt, and they were having a support your favorite school, college or university at his school. So he designed one, went to school. Teacher liked it, but he got bullied during lunch and caused a lot of problems, really devastated the kid and stuff. So the teacher started a campaign to kind of get him some new stuff, and it just went crazy, went totally viral. University of Tennessee got behind it, sent a whole bunch of stuff to the kid and his classmates, jerseys and shirts and T-shirts and all kinds of good stuff. But then they took it a big step further, where they took the kid's design and they actually made a T-shirt out of it right there, and are selling it on their website as a fundraiser for an anti-bullying charity that they're supporting. Now it took me probably 2 months. I think it's been a couple of months since I did it, maybe 6 weeks since I did that, and I just got the T-shirt yesterday, and so I'm very proudly wearing it today to show that. So if you want to support the anti-bullying, go to the University of Tennessee athletic store, and you can order a T-shirt there as well. Hey, let's talk a little bit about elections and election campaigning and the way, especially local elections. Right now, we've got, I'm in Federal Way, Washington, state of Washington, right? We got a little election going along here next month. Not going to be too busy this year, obviously, but our city council has some people running for re-election and for election. And as we've kind of gotten used to over the last few years, we see these things, where these giant postcards come in the mail, and this one for Mark Kopang, who is running for re-election here for the city council in Federal Way. Typical. What is this? 11.5 by 9.5 or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's mailed through the post office service called EDDM. I'm trying to remember what the EDDM is. It stands for Direct Mail something Direct Mail. Anyway, what it is that you pick out. And you notice it has no label on it. It just says Postal Customer, Federal Way, Washington. So what it looks like is that Mark. What he did was he had this card printed up, designed exactly like pretty much every card I've seen in the last several years from candidates, so nothing new there. Mailed it with the EDDM. So if you're like a company that has a geographical target, your moose are in a geographical location, you can go to the post office, you can go online, you can pick out zip codes, or you can pick out cities. It actually allows you to narrow it down even further than zip codes, but you can pick those out and then design and put in a something like this, like a postcard, and it will be delivered to every house in the area that you pick. You can also pick based on age and stuff like that, so they will pull out certain homes that don't fit the criteria. So if you do that, EDDM is really cool. You can Google that under the post office, USPS EDDM, and that will give you more information about that. But I really wanted to talk about somebody else here who is running for Federal Way City Council. I'm sure that Kopang's spent a few $1,000s on this, because even though it's cheap, it's like less. It's 20 cents a piece or something like that to put these in the mail. 18.7 cents, I think, is what it is, to put that in the mail, which is very cheap. But still, when you send out to thousands of people, you're going to spend a few bucks. So another guy that's running for Federal Way City Council is a gentleman named Tony Pagliocco, I think is how he pronounces it, Pagliocco. And Tony, I'm guessing Tony's budget is a little bit lower than Mark's, because this was delivered by a door drop, right? Where it was, he got a plastic bags like this and put this inside. Included in it was a refrigerator magnet. Not sure why you included a refrigerator magnet, but also a pen. So a little bit different. Okay. So even though he didn't have much of a budget, he can go out, and this is not costing him a ton of money to do this. So it's not a bad idea, but I think that he could have plussed this a little bit. Now let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Well, first of all, Tony calls himself. Now he doesn't do it on here, and if you go to his website, he doesn't do it in there either, which I think is a mistake. But Tony has called himself Federal Way Tony for several years, and he kind of built up. He started doing restaurant reviews, and he would post these reviews on his website, which was federalwaytony.com. You can go check out some of his old reviews here. And Kay, my smoking hot wife Kay, who is well connected in the Federal Way community. I am disconnected from the Federal Way community, but she's very well connected. She knows, and she also knows that his reviews used to be published in the local Federal Way Mirror newspaper. So here's the thing: is like here, it says, he's got this card, smaller card. He's got right there, like, who is Tony? Well, if I were him, the first thing I would say, the first thing he says here is Arizona State BS Computer Science, father of two, with special needs, 20-year technology problem solver. He's talking about, who he is, the features and stuff like that. I would have jumped on top of the Federal Way Tony thing, first of all, and I would have said, you might remember him as being Federal Way Tony, writing restaurant reviews for the city of Federal Way, and then you turn that into, you segue that into his message of saying that, I've lived in Federal Way now for 25 years. I don't know how many years he's lived here, but then, he reaches out to people, and there are going to be a lot of people in Federal Way are going to go, oh yeah, Federal Way Tony, I remember him, because the most important thing of all in political campaigns is that the voters remember you, so that when you go into the voting booth, that your name is on their mind. Okay, I would definitely have played up the Federal Way Tony. I would also have played up his last name, real strong Italian last name, and make that something that also anchors into somebody's mind. But then I would have taken it one step farther. So instead of putting in a card, because this is really just a smaller version of Kopang's big card here, right? That's all that is. This is still a little bit on the copycat side, which I hate, right? What I would have done, if I'm going to go out and hand deliver these things, is I would have written a personal letter. You could do it by hand and have it copied. You could type it up, have it copied, put into an envelope, and I would have put that inside of here. In there, I would have had that, and it would have said like a personal message from Tony Pagliacco, and then, it opens up, and he's talking in his own voice. He's saying, hey, I'm Tony. I've lived in Federal Way for 25 years. I've got 2 kids here. We moved here because my daughter was in an accident, and we were able to get better help for her around here. So so the city is very important to me. And he starts to tell his story, and in there, he, telling a story in a personal letter to people, I think would have made a big difference, and it would have been so much different from what, I don't know who he's running against. It's not this guy, but I'm sure that the other person who's running is not doing much different as well. So I would have changed it. I would have gone about it from that perspective. Tony, if you see this, you still have a chance. You still got plenty of time to go out and do that yourself. And if you, Tony, if you catch this and you want a copy of my book, Uncopyable, plenty of people in Federal Way know who I am. I am a legend in my own mind. Don't you think so? And if you want a copy, you let us know. I'll get you a copy as my gift to you, and then maybe you'll get some other ideas out of that to help you in your campaign. So there we go. UT, get the T-shirt. Go order the T-shirt. Support the anti-bullying. This is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's Dad and Marketing Gunslinger. Thanks again for watching me this week on my Uncopyable business video. I'll be back again next week. Until then, always always remember, be uncopyable. See ya.